What's the last thing you remember?
David? Hello?
Hey, this time.
What are you hiding?
Who's left?
We are gone.
Can we go home now?
Where you been?
Dad! What are you hiding? I remembered trees and dancing. We'll talk later.
Okay.
After you left, we joined Division 3, started working together to fight our real enemy.
Shadow.
Hey everybody, welcome back to LuckyDog Podcast. This is your host, Elias Rauch. Today we are discussing Legion Season 2 wrap-up. We didn't do a side-by-side comparison, Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3 type recap or anything like that. So we are just doing an all-in-one Season 2 recap real quick. Just quick initial feelings. Let me discuss first season real quick because we don't have any cast on it, just to catch everybody up on our feelings, my personal feelings. Season 1 was record breaking in just stylistic flair, the way it was introduced, everything about season 1 Legion was groundbreaking, and I thought was leaps and bounds better than all of television that was coming on. I thought Dan Stevens was bringing the fire. We had Jamie Smart. We had a stack full cast. Plus, we had Noah Hawley behind the producing the scenes. Everything behind the scenes. Noah Hawley. He's brought Fargo. He's brought Legion. He's brought a bunch of other big projects. I had very mixed feelings about season 2. So, season 1, one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was I think it was an 8-part, and I think it was an 8-part masterpiece, and almost everything about it, the way it landed, the choreography, the way that people were shown to have powers, how Dan Stevens was shown to be crazy, and there was the character development in season 1, and everything about the storytelling in season 1 was just superb. Season 2 really took a nosedive into the storytelling cinema language that they were fiddling with in the first season. So I just really had we're discussing spoilers for all of season 2 as well during this. I thought that this really started out strong. This season 2 opening, they've stretched it out from, I believe it was 8 episodes in the first one to 10 episodes in the second season, and there is 11 episodes in the second season. So there is just a noticeable difference in between having this many different episodes in a story that doesn't really require it. And so honestly, the cinematic flares that really got in the way with the storytelling came from the fact that I didn't have any idea what the hell was going on over half the time. I had to watch several of the episodes starting at around 4. It was around episode 4 where I realized that this season was gonna seriously, I'm gonna say it crawled up its own ass. It literally, they did not tell the filmmakers what they couldn't and could do, and so they just did whatever the fuck they wanted, and it really hurt the cinema language, in my opinion. Now obviously this is all my personal opinion. I didn't get Kelly, I didn't get anyone, Benz, Mark, anybody to come in and check this show out, because I wanted to say the first 2 seasons of this show were spectacular and you need to jump on this shit. First season was so amazing. I some people might say, better than sex kind of thing, and second season literally, it upset me. It upset me because it felt like watching your child perform on stage, and he's doing like a piano recital, and every time he hits that wrong note, you're like, it's like, dang it. And then at a certain point, you realize that your son is just doing whatever the fuck he wants to do, and he's not doing anything that was required on the sheet. And I am just like, I don't even know what to say about it. I was just kind of appalled about the direction of this overall season. It just really went off the rails in a way that I can't recommend this show to anybody now. I don't even want to watch season 3 at this point, but I'm going to, just because this kind of took similar steps that Mr. Robot took in season 1. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Season 1 and season 2 of Mr. Robot. Season 1 I thought was another masterpiece, very similar to how Legion 1 was a masterpiece. Season 2 came around, and Sam Esmail, the creator of Mr. Robot, really decided to they extended the episodes by 2 to 3 episode lengths to make it 12, I believe. 12 episodes on Mr. Robot, and you could feel the length in that being stretched out just a tad bit in between the episodes. So you could say there needed to be things that need to be trimmed up, just like Mr. Robot and Legion season 2. Sorry, things need to be trimmed up in Legion. Really, the thing is, Sam Esmail had control of where he was going, and he might have lingered on a few extra scenes a little bit longer than necessary. Noah Hawley, or whoever the hell was behind this, it feels like Noah Hawley was just like, all right, y'all, this is going to be the balls of the walls, whatever you want to do. All right, here's the stuff, and here y'all go. And he just left the room, and they just let everyone go wild. The editing, the cinematography, the composition. I mean, things are going wild. It feels like one of the trippy episodes out of a normal serialized television show, but then you get to one episode, it's a little bit out of sequence. This entire second season is like you put Westworld season 2 and you put it in a blender, and it just is, and sprinkle some superheroes in it and remove the robots. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's not even a puzzle box anymore, to the point where it's become I'm really not seeing that much positive reviews coming from this season, especially because of how high of praise it had at the beginning of the start of the season. I thought it had really high praise. The visuals were obviously amazing. Again, you got where all of the Aubrey Plaza has been. You've seen Farouk, and you see his what's going on with his body, and how David has been introduced to their little clique. When they've been out the entire time, starting at the beginning of season 2, and the more you find out, the more it's just like it's so convoluted in the plot. It's just not even necessary almost following, because who knows what's going on anymore. I mean, it felt almost like they had maybe a 2-hour story, and they stretched it out to 10 episodes, and they just had these really interesting side visual flares that really were eye-capturing to the viewer. But if there's no story, I mean, there's so little story that I can't even tell whose body's and who's and who, and what's going in what. It's so confusing, and what's going on. It's you can't recommend it at this point. I mean, if I'm at the point where I have to actively seek out other sources to find out what the hell happened during your season, and even at the end of season 2 at episode 10 or 11, whatever the hell, that I still have no idea what the hell happened. It's like, y'all really fucked up. I think just coming from an okay average viewer, I would say, I'm not like the smartest guy, but I should still be able to retain what the hell's going on in this show, and they really dropped the ball in it. So I did think that, you know, the visuals throughout the show, I really bashed season 2 a lot right now, but I do think that it has a lot of promising things that really would have worked good if they would have just stopped with the craziness and the puzzle box pieces and this was a puzzle. This was not even a puzzle box. This was a puzzle because it felt like several different pieces, and the progression of the story just felt really convoluted, and it was hard to really get invested in what was going on. So that was ultimately my problem. Other than that, I thought the acting from everyone, the cinematography, I've said that 100 times, the composition of the colors, where people were placed in the scene, the camera movements throughout the entire show are spectacular. They feel natural, and they feel like they had some cool ideas, and if they just would have looked over it a few extra times just to say, all right, we need to smooth it out, we need to have a little more character development and not so much choppy, sloppy editing. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. So I just wanted to say that season 2 was really a big nosedive from season 1. I have so many notes about individual episodes. I just had to put it all into one wrap up. I'm sorry if anyone loved this season. I would love to sit down and talk to you about it. Just like understand what the hell happened. I mean, I could barely understand 1 or 2 episodes because I was just so confused and mind boggled. I was just like, I don't even know if I want to finish this. So I'm going to start season 3 when it comes out, if it ever comes out, because I did hear the ratings are down, but I'm pretty sure it's been reordered and renewed. Sorry, and I'm ready for some congruent storytelling, very similar to season 1. So hopefully, like, Mr. Robot kind of went off the rails just a tad bit at season 2, but not nearly to the extent where it was like actively pissing me off like this season was. This season was like kicking me in the drawers, telling me you don't need to watch this show, and it might not be my show. So hopefully they pull a Mr. Robot and have season 3 just blow me away and just say, oh my gosh, dude, season 2, don't even worry about it. You know, season 1 was the bee's knees, but season 3 is where it's at. I want to be able to say, this is the show you need to be watching, because I'm at that point with Mr. Robot. Now, this has become more of a Mr. Robot cast at this point, but yeah, if they can do the same kind of nose hoop to hoop, you know, and pull and come out into season 3 on a high note, then we'll be in a good spot, because it definitely needs it. It needs some life. All right, y'all, rate, share, subscribe. LuckyDog Podcast. Check us out on all the other podcast apps. Android, iPhone, everywhere you can find it. LuckyDog Podcast. Take it easy.
She lives in the future you're going to destroy. And when you do, she will cease to exist.
I love you.
Love isn't gonna save us.
You still trust him?
He's my man.